The Ultra Combo Collab. One of Shuriken 255's most famous collabs, reaching over 1.5 million views on his Dojo channel. It's a synced collab based off of Street Fighter 4 and features over 20 different sticks in it. The co-host, C3 White Rose, made another video titled Stick Fighter, which showed a potential roster for a stick fighting game. It featured various RHGs such as Oxa, Bioyo, and Nazzle, who weren't in the Ultra Combo collab, but were in some of Shadow Rose's stories, who is C3's RHG. Now, back to the point I'm trying to make. What if the Ultra Combo collab was a game? What if you could choose an RHG or a duelist, and you could fight against a different one? Today, I want to show you what a potential stick fighter game would look like. First, we would have to go over the menus and game modes that the game would have. It would have pretty basic game modes that pretty much every fighter has. Arcade mode with 3 difficulty options, easy, normal, and hard, with a secret difficulty that you can unlock. Arcade mode is simple. You just fight basic matches with random characters consecutively, and after 10 to 15 rounds you would face a boss character of some sort, and then you would win. Or lose. By playing arcade, you can unlock more characters. The next game mode would be single player. Choosing this would give you 2 options, quick fight and custom fight. Choosing quick fight would give you a basic rule set. Best of 3, no handicap, classic mode off, and sync bonus on. Classic mode and sync bonus will be covered later. Selecting custom game will let you select your rules. You can have up to best of 5, and you can set handicap to whatever you want. You can also toggle classic mode and sync bonus. The next game mode is Versus. It's basically player versus player. You can do quick versus or custom versus, which has the same rule set as quick and custom fights, but it's PvP. The next game mode is Co-op, which has 2 characters fighting instead of just 1. You can switch each character out. The game modes that you'll get by selecting it is single co-op, versus co-op, and team co-op. Single is just single player co-op facing a CPU. Versus is PvP co-op. And team is 2 players teaming up against 2 CPUs. Similar to player versus everyone in a way. Each of these game modes will have access to quick and custom rule sets. After that is training mode. Training will let you select any character that you have unlocked, and will let you select the character test stick. You can only select test stick in training mode unless you unlock him, but he's a secret character. In training mode, you can see your combo count and get access to a metronome to help you with sync bonuses. There's also frame step, which lets you see attacks frame by frame, and there's a hitbox/hurtbox viewer. Overall, there's a lot of things to utilize in training. Next, there's watch mode, which lets you watch 2 CPUs battle. You can select any rules you want in this game mode. Finally, there's options mode, which lets you change your controls, volume, pretty much anything you would find in an options mode. Overall, there's a lot to explore in the game. This is only the beginning of how the game will get. Now this is where things get complicated. Stick Fighter plays like most fighting games, albeit with a few different controls. For reference, we're going to be using an Xbox controller. The HUD will look similar to Street Fighter 4's, but will look a bit different to avoid plagiarizing. A is going to be the jump button instead of pushing the left stick up. You can turn tap jump on in the settings though, which will make it so that when you tap the left stick up, it'll make you jump. B will be combo 1. It'll let you do a basic combo with your character that sends the opponent flying back at the end of it. Y will be combo 2, which sends the opponent up. The next is combo 3, which sends them down onto the ground. You can mix up combos to get access to different combos, and by tilting the left stick or D-pad in a certain direction, your combos can be different. Overall, there are a lot of different mix-ups you can do. Pushing the left stick or D-pad down will block. Attacking while blocking will give you a grab attack. A fairly weak attack, but it breaks through blocks. Holding backwards will move you back, and won't block. Attacking while moving backwards will give you a strong attack. It's slow, but powerful, and has good knockback. Pressing LB will give... What is wrong with me today? Pressing LB will use your first super, which costs 2 bars on the super meter. Pressing RB uses your second super, which also costs 2 bars. You can combo into these with your basic combos. Pressing LB and RB at the same time will activate your ultra combo, which completely drains your super meter, but it's a very strong combo and looks really flashy and cool. You can combo into it, but it can be avoided in a number of ways. However, we all know that the Ultra Combo Collab is a synced collab, and that is where I introduce sync mode. You see, I wanted to make it as close to the original Ultra Combo Collab as possible, while also making it a functioning fighting game. Certain hits on your combos will be assigned to a certain beat. For example, let's look at Draco's part in the Ultra Combo Collab. Let's watch that again, this time with a metronome in the background. As you can see, some of the hits that Shura deals matches with the beat of the metronome. The hits that match will do extra damage if they're on the right beat. Let me put a beat counter on the screen so you can get a better idea. This first hit can be assigned to beat 2, because that's the moment it hits. If you hit on that exact beat, you can deal extra damage and fill up your super meter faster. All the hits in between the beats are consistent and will do the same damage throughout, but the hits that land on beat will be colored red in the hitbox's viewer. This is just an example though, they could be colored a different color. If you land it on the right beat, you'll do extra damage, fill up your super meter faster. But it is risky, since you'll have to wait to land on that specific beat. You can choose to do extra damage, but it's risky since you could leave yourself open to being attacked. It's also really hard to get the timing right the first time, and will take some practice. Just how animators have to get better at syncing their animations. If you look at all the soundline challenges, it's clear that some are better than others. The ones that are better are the people that are used to syncing. while the challenges of lesser quality are not used to syncing as much. But you can't only rely on making synced animations, which is why you have to balance between syncing and not syncing. That's what Sync Bonus is all about, practicing. But enough inspirational speaking. Classic mode plays more like a traditional fighter. Same controls, but combos are much harder than mashing buttons. It's for people who like playing more traditional fighting games. Sync Bonus will be shut off and you're not allowed to enable it in Classic mode. Now, we're getting into the most interesting part, the character roster. This is what truly makes the game a stick fighter. These first characters I'm going to mention are going to be the base roster, without including characters you can unlock in the game without DLC. If you couldn't tell already, this is every single character featured in the Ultra Combo collab. You might be wondering, if every character in the collab is already in the game, then how are you going to unlock extra characters? And that is a good question. The extra characters that will be unlocked is from the roster from C3's flash file called Stick Fighter. That includes It was a lot of characters, wasn't it? Overall, adding all the characters, including the base roster and the unlockable characters, that is 55 characters in total. But that's not all the characters you're able to get, since there's also going to be paid DLC. For the DLC, I've come up with one pack called the Hatena 360 pack, or something along the lines of that. It would feature every character in H360's animation called Ultra Combo Fun, where he features his characters doing Ultra Combos using the template that Shuriken provided. It would include I think that Hatena should get some kind of recognition in this game, especially since he's one of the greatest sync animators. Now that brings the total amount of characters to 64, including the H360 pack. Okay, I'm sure the roster can't get bigger after that. Oh yeah, I already mentioned this, but Testic will also be playable. He's a secret character, but you have to find him on your own. At least until people start spreading the unlocking method all over the internet. There are multiple stages that you will be able to fight on that could be based on Shuriken's synced collabs and Shadow Rosa stories. There could also be a rough roadhouse stage that comes with the H360 pack. As for the music, all of those songs would have to be multiples of 86 BPM for consistency with the sync bonus. Training stage would also be a secret stage that gets more contested. The game would probably be released on Steam, the price being around $5 to $20 US. The DLC would be a third of the game's price, so if it were $15 USD, DLC pack would probably be around $5, with each individual character being $1.15. So it's probably better to just buy the whole pack. It may be possible for workshop support in the future, and maybe even online. As for separate games, there could be a spin-off called Stick Fighter Retro, which features 16-bit sprites of the first 8 characters with traditional fighter gameplay. Overall, if there was an Mortal Kombat Collab game, I wouldn't want it to be made like this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure to subscribe to Shuriken, CC White Rose, HD16, and of course yours truly. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if any game devs see this, just feel free to copy everything from this video. Just do it, okay? Please. Alright, but see you guys next time.